What is going on with Nintendo Directs? I watched every Direct for the last 8 years and I've been noticing a downward trend with every Direct posted. I sit there inhaling the copium, hoping that Nintendo still has that magic in them somewhere, but I'm starting to get more disinterested in what they're showing for each time. Then I go to the comments. Are we even watching the same thing? Every other game set to release is an anime game. I mean, good for you if you like that style, but I'm under the impression that the anime games have nothing but style going for them. They look highly predictive and boring to play, with most of them either being turn-based or hack and slash with over-the-top dialogue. The story is for a fact going to have this villain whose whole deal is just being so excessively evil. And when these type of games have no intriguing story, what do they have in going for them? I guess some people are going to have new Discord avatars when the renders are out. The games shown are focused on game concepts that have been overused lately, and I sit there rolling my eyes. The other half is games I can already play on other platforms. It's either that, or the games have already been announced before. I know for a fact every time I tune in, the last game is actually going to be the meat and potatoes of the broadcast. The game I actually would like to be released sooner. But when that last game has been the Breath of the Wild sequel for over 5 years, I lose any amount of hype I had. Remember the last one before this Direct? I sat there in utter disbelief that they were showing me 4 farming games. In the end, I just had to laugh about how insanely samey it was. Then there's this game. Fashion designer. Who asked for this? Who is this game for? I bet you most women watching this are just cringing at the trailer. I actually believe that male and female preferences in single player games are pretty similar. I don't think there's any girls interested in whatever this is supposed to be. I feel like when Skyrim was released, it was basically peace on earth with both genders just enjoying a good fantasy game. Just stop please, nobody wants this. I bet you even the Xenoblade fans wouldn't play a game as bland as this. When the most hype thing about this last Direct is that Game Boy Advance and Game Boy games are coming back, I don't know what to tell you. I wish it didn't have to be this way, but here we are, replaying the past, trying to relive the magic we felt playing these games 15 years ago. Who am I kidding? It's never gonna be the same. I can boot up Mario Luigi Superstar Saga, play through it, but I already know the ending and the solution to the puzzles and where to go. How can I not? It's the 3rd time they're releasing this game. I know how this one is going to play out. The Game Boy Advance library is gonna be drip fed to us at an unacceptable slow pace. And when there are no Pokemon games on that list, it makes it feel really underwhelming. The makers of the trailer should really reconsider what they're trying to achieve with them. They kept showing skill trees and menus for the game I don't even know what it's about. Clips like that should rather be saved for a deep dive into the game and its mechanics. But for the love of God, don't show me this when the point of the trailer is to get me interested in the game. Meanwhile, Sony is tuning up the hype with every trailer being more hype than the next. As I was writing the script, Sony has released their February State of Play and I hereby retract this statement. Now, I'm over here, maybe booting up Mario Party if I have some friends over, but more than often not, because the Mario Party I enjoy is Superstar, which is a remake of the most popular parts of the first 3, but the sad part is that it's never receiving any updates, or at least some new fucking maps, come on! Metroid Prime Remastered got revealed, and I said, it's gonna be released today. And I was fucking right! Don't get me wrong, I'm elated that Metroid is back, but it's like, do I really want to buy Metroid Prime for the 3rd time? Slight edit here, I bought it, it's a blast. How predictable has Nintendo become? When you look at the list they have their internal teams working on, you can bet yourself it's a remake or a remaster. I feel we're long overdue an end to this remake era. For the love of God, just make me something new, please. I can't sit here waiting for the end of my days replaying the same games I have since I first got into my Nintendo fandom. This cult of disheveled copium sniffers is still holding out hope that our grandchildren will see a return to form for Paper Mario. At this point, I'm just hoping that they can remake the 1000-Year Door so I at least can fight the X-Naut boss on the moon again. This is what they've turned me into, the virgin remake consumer. When Skyward Sword was shown on the Direct, I drew up. Why would they really release the last Zelda game before Breath of the Wild on a console that surpassed expected sales nevertheless? The game was already pretty easy to access in that way. Fellas, I haven't touched Pokemon since it was on the 3DS, and why should I? When the best game is Soul Silver and nothing new ever comes close to the amount of content it had, what's the point of wasting $60? They're trying all these new things with Pokemon, with changing it up, but not in a way that is interesting, it just comes across as bland and soulless. The one thing, the only thing, I was looking forward to in this Direct was Sea of Stars, but I'm fairly certain I'm gonna get it on Steam instead. Why not? It's easier for me to record it that way, if I plan to use the footage in a video. But then again, that game seems like one of those standard pixel RPGs. I'm at the point where I boot up my NES Mini more than my Switch. As I'm getting older, I feel my need to compete in games is decreasing. I just want to have a good time, and often find myself enjoying relaxing or thinking games more than hyper-intensive shooters. That is why I hope Nintendo can re-release a new Animal Crossing game, with more features and soul. Maybe not make the online such a chore. Sitting through the plane sequence gets stale really fast. The villagers certainly need to ask the players for more favors and step up the dialogue game. I don't know if I like the new terraforming thing either. I keep starting the game over if I'm not 100% happy with my island's layout and design. Is Nintendo still the game making master it once was? For as much as I want this to be true, I feel like they're running out of steam. Thankfully their older games are highly replayable, so you can always go back to them. But the new headliners they're showing? It's not it, Chief. I really wonder what they're doing at research and development, because making fresh games doesn't seem to be it. Someone needs to revive Satoru Iwata, because I bet you he's just rolling in his grave so fast if you plugged a dynamo to him you could power a small African village. I also really wonder how long they're gonna keep the Switch around, because it's gonna be 6 years old in March. And when the Switch was released, their library was underwhelming, but I always thought to myself that in 2 to 3 years we're gonna see the most kick-ass games ever. Oh, how wrong I was. Meanwhile, if you look at the GameCube's time span, bang, 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 back-to-back classics. And that was 5 years on a failed console. Meanwhile, on the Switch, it's just like... Not that I'm only talking about first-party titles. Third-party? Who cares, right? I'm just done. I'll still tune in like a slave to future directs, reacting to them with my friends, but I'm beyond hope for the Switch. It's dead, alright? Thank you for listening to a grown man complaining about this baby game company. Next video is gonna be about this little game. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called Metroid Prime. I personally have never heard about the game series before, so subscribe if you're interested for that. I look forward to reading your comments, and see you next time.